Hi.
Hi.
Shalom.
Manishma.
Manishma.
Good.
What was your first reaction when you heard about the October 7th?
Anger, outrage, betrayal.
Disbelief.
I felt a profound sadness. The videotape, they were at a peace music festival. It's shocking. And, you know, I feel like we had 2 days of sympathy.
Yeah,
2 days.
that's how I feel too. I don't think I've ever had a reaction to anything the way I had my reaction to that. I mean, it's amazing because I lived in the city during 9/11 and I had more of a reaction to that than I did to something that happened in my own city, in my own country. I guess as a woman, I had an incredible reaction to what happened to those women. I mean, what happened to all of them.
Of course.
As a mother.
We do benefits for women's organizations all the time. You know, they ask, we're there immediately. And for them to, the silence. Now, I'm gay, and the silence from the LGBTQ plus community, I wrote a tweet saying, I cannot believe that you are not speaking out. They then began to speak out.
They're outspoken lesbians. They're outspoken women. They're outspoken Jews. I've always been proud because I denied once. I lived in a small town where there was no Jews, and someone asked me, "Are you Jewish?" And I said no. And from that point on, I was like, I should never be ashamed of this. I should, I have tattoos all over my arms that say "No Muslims," and I'm kidding. It literally, I have Jewish tattoos, and I love my identity.
So are you proud to be Jewish? Like during the history, we are suffering.
That's
Day
why we're
one.
so cool.
And we survived.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have
always
survived.
We
yeah.
did.
Always.
This is our generation's, and this is like a hot take or it sounds extreme, but this is our generation's Holocaust. I wasn't around then, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I'd ever experience it.
No,
and now
right.
here it is. And it's shocking only because I never experienced it before as a luxury of living in this country,
Right.
you know? And now here it is, always a reminder that this will never, ever go away.
Right. When I was a little girl and I read like Anne Frank, and my parents talked about the Holocaust a lot, but the thing that got me was that they came into people's homes and said, "Get out." Like you're in your, and I remember I grew up in New Jersey. I'm thinking, wow, no, I can't imagine anyone coming into someone's home.
And think about
And
Israel.
and that's exactly what happened.
Israel is like the same size as New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
They say that too often now. Gets a little scary, doesn't it?
What?
If you live in Jersey,
Yeah.
you keep saying Israel's the same size as
Yeah.
New Jersey. Like,
'Cause we're from
next.
Jersey, right.
Yeah.
Do you think what happened affects your comedy right now? Like how do you-
100%.
Me too.
In what way? How?
General benign Jewish jokes, just saying you're Jewish.
You feel scared to be?
No, I don't feel scared. I feel empowered. I feel like I want to do them more. I said I was a Zionist on stage at the Comedy Cellar.
What's going on with that now?
When you say that someone, if they're anti-Zionist, you go, that's anti-Semitic, they go, no, it's not. And it clearly is, because if you're aware of the history of the Jewish people and why Israel was formed, it's supposed to be a safe haven because 6 million of us were wiped out. So if I said Africa should not have a right to exist, would that be racist of me to say that when 99.9% of the people that live in Africa
Totally.
are black? So there's this double standard, and it's frustrating to watch. And I don't know if it's like a pendulum shift or anything where people have just conflated these ideologies with Israel cannot be right because they have a lighter skin tone than the people in Palestine.
You think it's about color skin?
I think that's why people jump to Palestine's side when they don't understand it, when there's gay people in this room that are aware of how they would be treated in Palestine, but still the LGBTQ community is not pro-Israel, where Israel is fully supportive of these rights. And then you see some Jews that we thought were Jewish comedians,
the worst.
and they go the opposite way, literally just to build like a fan base, or because they may believe that stuff, but people lean into, it's not a political thing necessarily, but they're leaning into that belief system because all their friends are like, hey, good for you, thanks for being on our side.
But
whereas
also,
we're not applauded.
I've spoken to comics who are like, I'm not going to do the Jewish stuff. It's not
Why?
worth it. I don't want to.
Lose
I don't want to deal
followers
with it.
This career is such a hard thing to do that people don't want to do anything else to fuck it up. So they operate from a place of fear. Whereas some of us are like, we're just going to, what we do is what we do, but who we are is who we are. And that's more important than what
Yeah.
we do
Right.
sometimes.
There's a feeling that a bunch of Jewish comedians have spoken up. Why do you
That-
think
that-
Like Michael Rappaport, Seinfeld,
Yeah,
you know, they went
we feel like
there.
the comedians are more out there.
Well, we are risk takers and we're
Right.
truth tellers, and we've always been fearless. I mean, there's a reason every time there's a panel, they have a comedian on because they are gonna call the people out who are bullshitting. But it's the silence is deafening,
Yeah, it is.
especially when you have a huge platform and your career or the number of followers you have is more important. We have an existential threat going on right now that you would not stick up for your people, and the generations before who had to endure horrors. How dare you just remain silent? We talked about this before. There's so few of us. We make up 0.2% of the population, and the things we have contributed to make everyone's lives better. Every person in the world's life is better because of the contributions Jews have made.
That's why they're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much hatred too. Trust me. You've been very outspoken, Karen. I've been looking at your posts and all that stuff,
I've
and
gotten
I've
so much
admired
shit.
you. And I'm sure
In
that
Hebrew?
comics and people have gone at you
Yeah.
for stuff. Have they?
Yeah, 100%.
'cause she's-
I've
you-
restricted my comments. I've restricted my DMs because it hurts my feelings to hear it. It
Yeah.
hurts people that strangers and people that I know also, and
Yeah.
it hurts for people to come at me because I'm shocked.
Yeah, I
and maybe
know.
that's me being naive and having the luxury of living here and not being exposed to it. But it hurts to see it. I'm shocked that it's still here. You know,
I
And
am
we-
too.
I'm shocked that people can know us and still say things like that.
I know.
What's amazing is that, for years, when I would go visit Israel or something, or we'd get in a conversation about the Middle East, I don't really know about it. I don't know about it. I got to read a book.
Yeah.
I would really love to learn.
Yeah.
And now, since October 7th,
Everyone's
experts.
Yeah.
experts.
They're all
We know
experts.
everything.
It's amazing.
They know
Yeah.
everything.
I
Yeah.
told you, like, from what river to what sea?
Right.
What are they talking about? Like,
And we're losing the PR war. Because
Yeah.
I
there's-
said that to her
As
too.
we always have, though, we're not good at PR, but our existence has always been PR, right? Like we've always been good at staying alive and continuing to succeed despite it. That's always been the bet, and people hate that.
I know.
We're always going to lose the PR war because we're just there, we're like the high school nerd. We're coming at them with facts and a calculator, and nobody wants to
Right.
hear it. We're not the cool kid, and we
But
never have
but
been.
we have always showed up for marginalized people.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, the NAACP,
Yeah.
founded by Jews. The percentage of Jews that marched in the civil rights movement,
Always.
50% of the white people who marched were Jews.
Yeah.
And yet here we are. I posted Black Lives Matter.
Yep. I say that all the time.
It's where are you? Where are you? And facts. We have
Yeah.
facts and truth.
seems like they don't care about
They
facts.
absolutely not. Now they have an excuse. See, yeah, I always hated you. You know,
Yeah.
it's
it's like
Right.
denying
They
the
just
Holocaust.
see
Right.
everything black and white. It seems like they don't
They
care about
don't.
the hostages, about what happened.
But look at what
nothing.
we're up against. We're against people who sacrifice their own people for a PR opportunity,
Right.
and we're not like that.
Right.
So we're destined to lose that war, right? Like not the war, but
Right.
the media war.
Yeah.
Always.
When you watch how peaceful as a whole, Israeli people are, because they have to defend themselves all the time. So whenever you see a protest that almost goes violent or something, it's always a pro-Palestine person at a mall where someone's threatening to kill somebody else. Whereas Israel's like, just let us be. And
that's
it's-
all we want. We want peace
Right.
there. That's what we want, and we try so many things. We lived in Gaza.
Yeah, you left.
Yeah, my family lived there, and they left, so the Arabs can live there.
Right.
But no one talks about that.
What about how many Arabs are in the Knesset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many Palestinians had jobs in Israel
Yeah.
and went in and out of Israel every day?
Yeah.
How
I
about
mean,
the fact that Gaza's a Jew-free zone? That they
Right,
have signs
yeah.
saying no Jews allowed, and God forbid you should accidentally set foot in there. What
Right.
would happen to you? And the reverse is not true, but it
No.
always falls in deaf ears. I don't know how to amplify the message enough for people to hear it.
I think the Arabs there in Gaza, they think different than the modern people or American people, and they just play with it.
right.
We will never expose dead bodies. We respect the dead people, and they just show it everywhere. And pictures sells. Like
Jews are not professional victims. We don't play
we
that
don't
game.
love to be victims.
Yeah.
My grandma, she's a Holocaust survivor. Her family been killed. She's a refugee. She ran to Israel, and she, instead of be a victim all her life, she built herself and become something big. So even the people in Gaza, they have so many sources that they can use and build themselves, and we will support them, and we're giving them money,
A ton.
a ton of money, and Hamas take it.
But also, what did Gaza look like before Hamas was
It
there? It was
stunning,
beautiful.
beautiful.
And they had all this money. They could have built schools.
We had airport there.
Right.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, parks. They could have educated their kids. But no, they built tunnels and they took
Yeah.
the money. Their whole goal is to get rid of the Jews. And these people cannot get that through their head that they don't want Israel to exist and they want all Jews
Exactly.
eradicated.
And it's not a secret. They
Right.
said it in
Right.
English
I
on
know.
American TV.
Right. Right.
We know it. But people don't. But no one wants to hear. People hear what they want to hear.
I mean, they know the history of what happened there.
Yeah.
They know nothing.
Yeah.
And if you ask them to point to Gaza on a map, forget
They'll
it.
Yeah.
point at Norway.
I think it's East New York,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Yisrael Chai.